Okay, hello everybody, this is Chiosuke with another StarCraft cast. Haven't done one of these in a while since I have been playing the Overwatches very often. But it is going to be on the Korean server, Sword KR as you guys can tell, between me spawning in the top left of, what is this map? Dusk Towers, Orbital Shipyard, one of the two. It is going to be me, the Red Terran, between our Protoss buddy. His name is going to be Sambongi or something like that. Some Korean thing. I can't really, my pronunciation's probably terrible. So take it with a grain of salt. So we are going to get things underway. We are going to see our opponent going for a gateway, and like the title probably will say, we are going to be going for Thor drops. So there was a lot on my mind when I was going into this game. But first of all, he is going to be coming into our base, and this is when all the mind games start happening, okay? So he gets into our base and he's like, oh, okay. Terran's taking a gas. Okay, hey, this Terran's taking a second gas pretty soon. So, oh, I wonder if he has his expansion or not. And then he goes to check my natural, and he's like, hey, there's nothing here, right? So he's already a little bit wary. He's like, hey, something's going on, right? And just to be safe, I'm still sending my SCV out just in case he's going for, like, Mothership Core Rush and trying to Photon Overcharge me. So, going to be throwing the SCV in just to make sure we don't need to make a bunker or something like that. Going to be scouting one of the pylons, and then I'm like, okay, is there anything over here? And there's no cyber core over here. Go over here, and then I see the gateway. Do I see the cyber core? I actually don't know. Yes, I do. And then I go down to the natural expansion. So we did kill off of that probe that was in our base. I think he might have seen the factory. Did he see? Okay, so he did see the factory, and he saw the two gas. So he has to play safe at this point. He can't go for something like an Oracle in case it's like a Widow Mine Drop. Or I guess he could, because then he could use Revelation on it. But I could always just pick it up and wait for the Revelation to wear off. I'm not actually sure how long it lasts comparing to, like, the energy regeneration rate. But he could always just make more oracles, so. Regardless, we are going to be getting up the factory, immediately starting the armory, and then going for the starport. Little adjustment from the last time I went for the Thor drop. Positioning the Marines at the top of the ramp, because I know that he made an Adept, and he killed off my scouting SCV. So I figured, oh, if he goes for the annoying Adept poke, then I have to position the Marines in front of the supply depots. And here we go. The armory is just about finished. Almost got supply blocked, but barely had enough supply in order to at least start the Thor. The medevac is going to be a little bit delayed here. I probably could have cancelled, like, this Marine. I think medevac is only 2 supply. I think it is. I'm not actually sure. I always just assumed it was 2. But in the meantime, our buddy is going to be going for Adepts in the mineral line. Again, he saw the early factory, and he saw the, what's it called? Early factory and the early gas. So he's a little bit wary of possible Banshees as well. So now I eventually throw down my natural expansion at 4 minutes after we have officially started the Thor and the medevac. And we also pull some SCVs. This was like a super critical part of this game, man. Look at this. Okay, so we have SCVs. They're already on auto repair, and we're going to send them up to this cliff so we can just constantly harass with this. I thought we could get some good damage done in the front with some Marines as well. Since we do have a medevac, I thought it was reasonable to attack with the Marines, since the medevac can heal them and it could do a lot of damage, possibly. The pathing of this could have been a little bit better. I could have just sent it straight from here to here. Kind of went around just in case, but I already scouted the front of my base to see that there was nothing there. And this is when the micro gets a little bit bad. So I try and drop right here, and then there's not enough room for the Thor to drop, so the medevac's like, hey, I can't do that. You need to micro, son. So, going to be poking up the front, and this attack just went poorly. But we are focusing down the pylons, man. Just so he can't overcharge and defend against Thor. Also, if we do it this way, then we can, what's it called? Continually drop in the back here. So the second Thor should be out by this point, and he is going to eventually start cleaning things up. He does have an immortal, so I have to run away for the time being. I thought I could sneak behind this, but unfortunately I was not able to. I thought his units might get stuck behind the cyber core, but I thought I lost this Thor for sure because he did so much damage. I'm like, oh, barely pick up this Thor, man, barely. So this is where the SCVs come into hand, man. Now we can start repairing. We do have the second Thor in the back going to be re-dropping, and the pathing of the Stalkers got a little wonky there, and we were able to pick off 2 Stalkers. That's pretty big deal in terms of the units lost. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, we're losing minerals because we have to repair the medevac and the Thor back here. But once this Thor... Oh, Jesus. SCV, can you not... Okay, you can't squeeze behind there. Guys, teamwork. Move around. But I also got a siege tank. Not really sure why I made this. I think it was just like, oh, I kind of need to defend my base in case he does a counterattack. I wasn't sure exactly how much damage I was doing, because I was trying to drop in multiple locations at the same time. I think we should have another Thor up here. Okay, so we try and focus down a Stalker. Don't exactly get it here, but we have done a good amount of damage. Also able to expand probably a 3rd time. My SCV production definitely could have been better while I was doing all this junk. Going to be poking at his 3rd base, going to be picking off this probe, trying to kill off the pylon here, and we should be able to get it. Stalkers always run a little bit faster than all of his other units, trying to focus down the medevac, and he is going to be almost done with his blink, so then this pressure shouldn't be able to do too much. I guess kind of forgot about this. It's done repairing! Go attack! Oh, he sees it. Oh, he sees it. So he's like, oh god, I need to defend. And then I come in the back. He only has 2 Stalkers. This is not enough in order to deal with a Thor drop, man. Look at this. Look at this. Thor versus like 4 Stalkers. Easy peasy. He focuses down the medevac, but because of it, this Thor is just raining hell. Look at this. 10 kills, and Protoss units are really expensive, man. Go in the back, and they killed off those 2 Stalkers as well. Thor had like 10 kills. This one has like 11 kills. This is amazing. I'm playing myself up way too much. I'm doing like terribly with the macro. Look at these. Look at all these SCVs. They're just like, oh, well, I guess we're done with these engineering bases that you kind of like made arbitrarily because you don't know the follow-up to this. And I guess we kind of just are going to chill next to these barracks because you kind of like threw them down. But hey, we did some damage, and it was cool. And we're actually almost even at this point. Also, he's getting +1/+1 a lot earlier than we are, so our upgrades are behind because our multitasking was bad. But hey, the Thor drop was pretty cool, I thought. So SCV going to be just chilling next to the 3rd base. He does scout everything out with this observer. I don't even notice it, I'm pretty sure, this entire game, because I'm good. And I forget about these SCVs as well. I'm sorry, you guys, you did such a good job earlier. And we do have this tank. I think I wanted to go and do a little bit more harass as well, but I think I eventually remembered that, oh yeah, he has blink, right? So, but then I was like, no, let's just go harass anyway, and then the blink stalkers just catch a random tank, no problem, easy peasy. And then, so immortals aren't great against marines, so if we just spam the marines, the Thors are great, or the immortals are great against the Thors, but not great against marines. So one strategy that I had a really hard time with was the Tempest strategy back in Heart of the Swarm on certain maps, just because the Tempests force you to make Marines. Like, you can make Vikings too, but they're not that great, unless you get a critical mass and then just straight up attack them. But most of the time, the strong point about a Tempest build is that it goes undetected, right? So, and after that, they follow up with either Colossus or High Templar. And because of it, it's like the High Templar are so good against the Marines with the Storm, because even if you like try and do the splitting, man, Marines just evaporate to those storms. So, going to be doing a little bit of stutter stepping here. And that whole tangent was actually about just like, I forced the Stalkers and the Immortals, and those aren't good against Marines, and I made Marines. Voila. That could have been summed up a lot easier. Regardless, we're going to finish up our +1/+1. Our opponent has +2/+2 on the way. We are just now starting our +2/+2. A little bit off, but not too far. Our opponent's macro is slipping a little bit. How many gateways does he have? 4, 6? He's getting his +2/+2 upgrades as well here. Are these on cooldown? Maybe? Nope. You can totally warp in right now. Has the supply too. I guess he's just trying to debate what he should be making against this. I personally like Adepts, especially since he is getting the Resonating Glaives upgrade. And let's see here. going to be getting the air attack for the Liberators as well, as I am going to be rallying across the map. So when he pushed into me, I'm like, oh, that actually went really well. And we are ahead in terms of supplies. Well, this hold position, I don't exactly know what was up with that, but we are going to be doing a little bit of stutter step micro against all these units, clumping everything up, just making it so that he can't actually run away here. And because of it, his entire army just evaporates. He almost, this was like great timing because I hit right before +2/+2 hit, but I didn't even check his upgrades, man. I cannot tell a lie. I did not check the upgrades. So he's going to be overcharging. He has a couple of units focused down the pylon with the overcharge to just go around the second pylon with the other overcharge, and then there's really nothing he can do. I guess if he had like a disruptor, then he could just throw it at this army, and then it could possibly take out a big chunk, but we already killed the Nexus at this point. And look at this. We have a stream of ants coming across the map. And we also have our 4th base up, so we can morph this into a planetary eventually as well. But I thought this was just such a fun game. I got such a rush out of it. I was just like, oh my god, this was a really cool, this was a fun strategy. I haven't had this much fun playing StarCraft in a while. So I highly suggest you guys just come up with your own funky build and play around with it, because I mean, I beat a Master League Korean player. That was pretty good, right? Pretty good. So I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed it.